Everyone knows that it's a difficult journey. When you get married and you begin to wait for a child, and the waiting begins to look endless as days roll into weeks, and weeks into months, and months into years. Everyone knows that it's a painful journey. But exactly how painful it is, what does this pain even involves? They may not know. Because what you have not gone through, you definitely may not be able to really understand. The theory, yes. But in reality, what do you know about the identity crisis? The social stigma, the ridicule, the hurtful remarks, the optimism and heartache, the difficult decisions and disagreements, endless appointments and visits to doctors' offices, series of tests, treatments, and procedures, rising hopes, dashed hopes, blame, guilt, financial expenses, emotional expenses and inadequacies, even sexual intimacy, empty homes, empty homes, empty homes, relationship strain, isolation, and shame. Hello, this is your relationship host, Ibi, from Heartthrob Haven Lounge. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe, turn on the notification, and give me a thumbs up. And please share this video to forums and to people you know who will benefit from this. We are talking about the pains of waiting for a child. I'll be replacing the infertility with waiting for a child. The pains, I tell you, are real. They are real. Identity crisis. Am I whole? Why it's still going through your mind? Enough suggestions to come from the society, from in-laws, from your peers, from other people to challenge your identity. Even sometimes, it could be in subtle sayings like, what is wrong? It's not even in every waiting that something is actually wrong. And they begin to let the biology define you. What about the social stigma? You know, the couple that don't have a child. Some mother-in-laws have been known to call a waiting woman a man like the husband. That's hurtful remarks. Insensitive remarks. Some of these remarks are actually targeted at you. Some of them are unintended. Some are intended. Some are just outright inconsiderate. And some are innocent. Somebody says something before realizing. Somebody says something without realizing that you're actually there. That is why I said some of the hurtful remarks may not be intended. They are just innocent remarks. But they may hurt you, those remarks anyway. And the one about outright ridicule. Like a man like you. Like at your age, or your sister, or your neighbor, or your friend, ridicule. Everybody is talking. Even you are coming here to talk. Go and give birth first. Do you know what it is? Do you know how it is? And then God help you. You go and correct somebody's child. I don't blame you. You don't know what it is. Some say it in Yoruba. Hurtful remarks. And these are things that actually, the pain is there, but they aggravate the pain. And then even you start a month being optimistic. This is my month. And suddenly, the hope crashes when the period comes. And then there is heartache. When will I have mine? Will God ever answer me? Why is it like this? Difficult decisions. Because then the couples have to start taking decisions. Do we consult the doctor? Do we take this offer of treatment? Do we go this route? Do we go that route? Should we even, difficult decisions, should we even give up and go for surrogacy or adoption? A lot of difficult decisions. And sometimes, if not handled carefully, can even pitch the couple against themselves. Disagreements. No, we're not doing that way. No, this is what we are doing. Disagreements. What about endless appointments to see the doctor and the waiting involved? You will wait, you will see the doctor, hopes will be raised, hopes will be crushed. Too many. Then there will be series of tests, treatments, surgeries. People will always say, if you are waiting, you have to go and clean your womb. You have to go, you go there. Months after, nothing happens. They tell you this particular treatment is what so and so person used. It will work. You take it. It doesn't work for you. Money is going down the drain. Time is going. The pain is real. Hopes are being dashed. One appointment to the other. The hope rises when the period has not come. Pseudo pregnancy. You start feeling you're pregnant even when you're not, but you feel it. And then the hope is dashed. Blame and guilt. You start blaming each other, even if you don't say it out in your mind. Maybe it's your fault. Maybe it's her fault. Maybe she did this. Maybe he did that. Guilt. Is it because I did this? Maybe I should have married earlier. Maybe I should have started earlier. Maybe I should have done this. I should have done that. Am I depriving him of having a child? Should we just forget about it? Should I stop being his problem? Let me allow him, the suggestions that is being given to him, to take another wife. Blame, guilt. This blame and guilt sometimes are justified, sometimes are not. Not every time guilt comes is it justified. Whatever it is, it happens. Then what of financial expenses? Infertility treatment is very expensive. It is bastardly, like I like to say, expensive. What about even doctors who exploit people, who exploit these means to milk you of money? They take you sometimes through expensive routes when you really don't need to go that route. Emotional inadequacies. You are in a gathering. Everybody is talking about their child. Somebody just comes. Let's introduce ourselves, our families. The first thought that comes to your head, you begin to feel embarrassed. What do I say? How do I say this? So many roller coaster emotions. For me, the one that got at me most, empty home. Empty home. Empty home. You come back to meet empty home. You know, I really didn't feel this so much until one day I went with a friend. I left the office with her. I didn't drive that day, and we were going home. She was going to drop me at home, so we were gisting. Can't remember whether she made the call or one of our kids made the call. They gisted. And Tunke is saying hello to her. Of course, a child will attend to his mom first. After that, said hello, then quickly back to the mom and all of that. You know, I was actually enjoying the scene. But by the time I came down from the car and I got into my compound, the emptiness I was going to meet hit me like I never realized. That was actually my first time to realize that one of the greatest pain of waiting is the empty home. And I got down. And as I was going, then once I go, before I go up to our apartment, I'll check if there is light. If there is no light, I start the joint before going on. That day, I did not even bother. And apparently there was no light. I just went up the staircase. And as I was climbing the staircase, successive steps I was taking, my legs were getting heavy. Heavy and heavy. With the anticipation of the empty home I was going to go and meet. When I opened the door and I met with that silence, this one was a deafening silence. You imagine, noise deafens, but this silence was deafening. I just got in. I dropped my bag on the floor as I got in. And immediately, tears got into my eyes. And they started falling like torrents. It was as if a tap was open. And I started crying. And I cried and cried and cried. And as I was crying, my husband's call came through. He thought he needed to pick me from the bus stop where the staff bus would have dropped me, not knowing that I had gone on home. And I could barely answer him. I said, hey, you're crying again. I'm on my way home. But before he got home, I had dried my tears. I did nothing, but my tears were dry because I had cried my eyes out. By the time he came home, the evidence he saw that I had cried were the tears that were dried on my face. I didn't move. When I entered the house, I did not close the door. The door was wide open. My bag was on the floor as he come in, and I was seated there on the sofa in the sitting room, staring into nothing. The tears were dry on my eyes. And my husband looked at me. And he looked at me. And he said those same words again, which I know is true and will always be true. He said, don't worry. This challenge will not last. We will overcome it. Those were the comforting words. And then, I still sat there, staring into nothing. Actually, my head was blank. But the emptiness had never hit me that much before. Because that emptiness is a poignant reminder of the fact that there were no children yet. Because if there were children, they would have been back from school, crying and shouting, "Mommy, mommy, welcome." The pains of infertility also puts a big strain on the sexual intimacy in the home. As different people begin to suggest different styles to you. Do it like this. Do it like this. Don't stand up here. Don't sit down there. Many, many things. And sometimes the intimacy that once was passionate has become mere timetable because of that time of the month, to be able to take good use of it. And sometimes you just don't feel it, but you just have to force yourself. In fact, the emotional baggage of the fact that previously nothing has happened, sometimes immediately it is that time that you know you should give it a try. It's difficult to get yourself in the mood. But sometimes you just talk to yourself in the head. These are some of the pains of a woman waiting for a child, and that of a man waiting for a child. And men can be the most insensitive. They crack some very hard jokes, and they push a man who is meaning to stand with his wife to overcome the infertility, and they begin to make terrible remarks, and the man feels it. Sometimes he comes home to take it on the wife. Sometimes the wife also takes it out on the husband. What do you think about all I've said so far? Please let me have your comments in the comment section. And I want to tell you that I'll be following this with a video that talks about the torturous pain of IVF, surrogacy, and adoption. These are various treatment plans and paths available. But how do they pan out? Relationship strain happens when the man has been badly teased outside with those crude jokes that men sometimes make. Or the woman has been stressed by her parents or her parents-in-law or siblings-in-law, whoever they are, taunted sometimes by society, by a neighbor, whoever they are. And it can begin to strain the relationship between husband and wife. When I talk in my video about what you should do while waiting, I will talk about this. Then sometimes there's isolation. Some women are unable to go to naming ceremonies, even sometimes to weddings, because they feel a sense of shame. Biology does not define you. This one too will pass. It will pass. That isolation and shame can be by the people waiting or by society. They're excluded from certain events. Even when they show up, people are like, you came? Like, seriously, you came? Even when they don't say it out sometimes, their words, their actions show it. Waiting for a child is a very difficult time. And then for those who are having series of miscarriages. It's great loss and grief. When a woman who has had a child or is not really waiting like that has a miscarriage, it is the loss of pregnancy. But when couples who are waiting have miscarriage, it is the loss of a child. You see the difference in how they feel? It is the same thing that was lost, but that is the difference. That is one of the pain of infertility. It feels like a tangible loss. When a pregnancy that had begun to brew hope in the couples become dashed through miscarriage. When I had miscarriage, sometimes at the time of that birth, sometimes I remember it. Or I see a child that was born around the month should have been due. And I look at it, my child would have been that age. What do you think? Do you think these pains are exaggerated? Or the pains are justified or they are real? I'll be waiting for your comments in the comment section. Please, if you have stayed this long on this video, you rock. Thank you for listening to it. Please share this video to those you think will benefit from it. And please turn on the subscribe button and notification so that you can get more videos like this from me. Remember to give me a thumbs up if you like it. I'll be waiting for your comments. Thank you. Once again, this is your relationship host, Ibi from Heartthrob Everyland, saying, get it right, get it good, and get it exciting. See you in my next video on waiting couples, where I talk about what to do while waiting. Bye.